You don't owe anyone shit. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Chase Atlas YouTube channel, and today we will be talking about why you essentially don't owe anyone shit. However, this very much depends on the circumstance. Okay, so what do I mean by you don't owe anyone shit? First, I'm actually going to be talking about situations where sharing with other people may be to your benefit more than anything. And the first bullet point I have here is that sharing is cathartic in times of trauma. You'll actually hear this pretty often with recovering addicts, but it doesn't even apply to just addicts. It can literally be any kind of trauma. So basically how it goes is to free yourself, you share whatever it is with one person, the universe or God, and yourself, and you admit whatever it is to yourself, your wrongs, whatever it may be, something that happened. And this is a pretty crucial step in, setting yourself and your soul free. However, it's kind of funny because the main reason you're sharing whatever it may be with another person is actually with the sole purpose of setting yourself free at the end of the day. It's about not really caring what they say or how they react afterwards, because the only reason why you really got that off your chest to another person was to set yourself free. It has nothing to do with them approving you, though it does help a ton if that person you're telling it to shows you love afterwards. Typically, you want to aim for that if you're sharing a deep trauma with someone, or if you're recovering in addiction, whatever it may be. You want to choose someone who's gonna, you have a pretty good amount of faith that they're gonna respond in a loving way. Typically, you don't want to aim for a person who's going to be a dick after you let out your deepest, darkest secrets to them, right? So typically, this is a person you trust, could be a family member, a friend, therapist, whatever it may be. It's pretty cool because after you do this, in the future, you'll have an easier time kind of healing this trauma on your own, really, and being able to reassure yourself and not really needing anyone else's reassurance. However, there are times where you may anyway. But there's a reason this is called you don't owe anyone shit, and that is because there are circumstances where, in my opinion, it is indeed a necessary step to confess, or whatever word you want to use, to another person about something. But many times we actually have the ability to heal this on our own and reassure ourselves on our own. Now again, if this is some really deep trauma, typically you will want to share whatever it is with another person, or at bare minimum, do some really deep self-reflecting. But I found that once you've done most of the deep healing and you've already told another person about whatever it is, then after that, it's a lot easier to reassure yourself. And by whatever it is, I'm just referring to trauma, if you have addiction, just the same topics I mentioned earlier, whatever it may be. Bless me. But the reason this is called you don't owe anyone shit is because there are times where some people completely overdo this, right? They feel like they need to get someone else's approval, right? They feel like they need to get someone else's approval for them to feel secure in themselves. And of course, this stems from childhood because, we're used to kind of wanting our parents' approval at childhood, right? And even that can stick with a lot of us later on in life, and we still feel like we have to seek that approval from them, or it turns into another person. It can turn into a close friend, a relationship partner, even a higher up at work, whatever it may be. But listen, if you really feel your intuition is right about something and you feel like you can do it on your own, do it on your own. This can be a matter of learning a new skill, right? And it's great if you feel like you need someone to teach you something, if you feel like you learn best with like a teacher or someone helping you out. It can be a great way to get started, or a great way to progress throughout whatever you're trying to learn. But oftentimes we actually have the ability to learn more than we think just on our own. I mean, we have computers and iPhones and all this at our fingertips to literally learn anything in the world. And I find, honestly, with my own personal experience, with anyone else it could be different, right? But any times I've looked to someone else to learn something or whatever it may be, it often kind of results in just feeling really confined at the end of the day. And if you find yourself in the habit of every time you have to call off seeing a friend, call off whatever, you have to change plans, but you feel like you owe them some sort of explanation for it or some sort of excuse. If you find yourself falling into that, then this could be something to heavily look into. Like, let's say me and a friend, plan to hang out at 4 on Wednesday, and then all of a sudden something really important, something I prioritize more over that comes up, and I'm like, hey dude, I gotta move this to, Friday 5 p.m. I don't have to explain to my friend, the whole scenario why I can't, hang out that day. because I trust in myself that, hey, I know the reason why I'm doing this, and therefore my friend should respect that as well, right? I know I'm jumping around here, but there's many I know I'm jumping around here, kind of go from trauma healing to calling off, hanging out with a friend, but it all kind of goes under the same belt of you really don't owe anyone anything. You know, on the upside, when I was going through some really deep trauma back in 2021, you know, at the end of that year, I expressed it to my therapist, and it was a great and cathartic moment, but it also became this thing of like, as soon as I realized I could be open with other people, it came this big thing where I was just like, it was just like TMI moments, right? Where it's like, you know, you don't need to tell anyone else that for you to, you know, feel better about the situation, right? There are times where, you know, where you can feel it and move on. Now this varies from situation to situation, right? If you cheated on your girl, you gotta tell your girl. This isn't just like a one size fits all type of thing, right? Like I'm the type of dude, I can mainly relate to, you know, creative examples. So I'm just gonna give one because that's what I can relate to. But say you created this like beautiful ass, I don't know, painting, right? And you love it, you're super proud of it, but something in you just says, oh man, you know, I should hit up Larry, see if Larry, what does Larry think of this, you know? And Larry tells you, you look, not you look, but Larry tells you, oh my God, dude, this painting looks like absolute shit. Listen, man, fuck Larry, all right? Larry don't know what the fuck he's talking about. If you think it's good, it is. Roll with that. I honestly recommend to a lot of people nowadays, not if you're just learning something creative, I'm talking about learning anything, that if you do it, try to really go full throttle into self-teaching yourself, whatever it is, instead of immediately looking to, you know, other people helping you out. I mean, because A, it's cheaper, and B, it's like, it's free ground, man. There's like no restrictions. I feel like when someone else, you know, teaches you something directly, I'm not talking YouTube tutorials, but when someone, you know, teaches you something directly, it comes with this sense of you kind of feel confined in a way I can't really explain. So if you're learning something, really just go full throttle, honestly, into self-teaching yourself it, because you'll go a lot farther than you think. You know, when I was 14, I was like 15 to 16 maybe. Actually, I was like insanely into graphic design. I entirely self-taught myself it through YouTube videos, which I guess you could count someone else teaching, but not really. Honestly, because it's still, you know, ungrown time, you kind of, you know, choose what you do with it. And just messing around in Photoshop, and I created some really badass artwork. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, alright? I created some really dope ass shit at just the age of like 14, 15. That's because I had like no social life, and I was just like, I would graphic design all day. But if some of you feel like asking, I can send you my portfolio if you want proof of it. But off of that topic, I just really want to emphasize that you can trust yourself to heal. Again, if there is deep trauma, I want to re-emphasize that do not just shoo away the option of, you know, sharing whatever it is and, you know, telling, you know, somebody else about it, because that can be a huge, you know, cathartic step when it comes to deep trauma. But a lot of things, we're looking for approval, you know, in things we don't even really need approval for. If you've given yourself the go and you feel like everything's all good. Don't waste time telling anybody else. All right, move on. You know, trust me, it's not worth becoming a TMI kind of person like I did in, you know, the beginning of 2022, because that's what happened. Like, I healed from all this trauma, you know, then I found myself really over confessing to things I didn't really need to at the end of the day. Use your intuition to kind of guide you on, you know, what you should seek out to other people for, and things you already have assured in yourself. And a huge superpower of this is you actually become pretty goddamn magnetic when you stop relying on other people. People will actually start looking to you, you know, to, you know, help them through things. If they want to learn something, they may look to you for it. You know, it's crazy once you have that assurance in yourself. And again, I just want to reemphasize that, and, you know, when it comes to trauma and whatnot, that you will find the most freedom from, you know, it's, you know, like I said, typical among, you know, you'll hear with a lot of addicts and whatnot who are recovering, but, you know, admittance to yourself, the universe, or God, and one other person is often, you know, an amazing route to go for, you know, healing deep trauma or addiction or anything like that. But besides that, really, you don't really need anyone else's approval. I know, and, you know, I know a big fear is that, well, what if something I'm doing, whatever, is dog shit, but I don't realize it, and I'm, you know, unself-aware of it. Listen, progression exists for a reason. If you keep at whatever you're doing, eventually we'll look back and see ways you have improved, ways you can improve, you know, you can always reflect on whatever it is you've done and use that to help you improve. This isn't to say never reach out to anyone for advice or help or critique or anything, but I think we need to start trusting ourselves more. So that will wrap up this video. If you guys enjoyed this video and want more content like this, then feel free to subscribe to the Chase Atlas YouTube channel. I upload pretty regularly, or at least I'm starting to right now. Got off of it for a little bit just because I got busy with other stuff, but I plan to stay keep uploading these pretty persistently. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, night, whatever time of day it is for you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Chase Atlas out. Remember, you don't owe anyone